Hey y'all, it's Sharon and I'm back to share another experience with you guys. If you're new to the channel, I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US, and I was also in the military, and I'm sharing my experiences in hopes of helping others. If you're new to the channel, hit like and subscribe, and also check out our online store. The link is in the description. Today, I'm going to share another experience with you guys. This is part 2 of the Whistleblower's Diary. And in the last video, I talked about the relief that I felt when I walked off the firing line. And I just want to focus on that a little bit today. Now, I mentioned that as I looked out, as that last bullet went down range and I realized that I did not pass, I looked down range and I saw another female and she had broken down. She was crying and it was just, and for a couple of seconds, I wanted to just I just wanted to cry and break down also. And that's when I heard the Lord say, I got you. And I said, okay, Lord, you got me. And as I walked off the firing line, this weight, this relief came over me. And what I realized that what that was the fact that I had been walking around with this weight of having to whistleblow on officers. And that's what was leaving me because I was no longer going to be in that environment. And the environment was so hostile to my mind, to my psyche, to my body eventually, that I'm sure if I had a camera that day, I was probably an inch taller. My shoulders were back, and I was just a brighter person. The relief, it just came over me, and the heaviness left. And the heaviness was the fact that I had been carrying that around. And I just want to share that with you guys. Whistleblowers just don't go away. And like I mentioned in the last video, there's a deterioration that happens, if you allow it, of course, to the person. Either you come back from that or you leave in such a way that there's a darkness, there's a heaviness, there's a weight, you're bent over, you know? And my Father in heaven took that from me. And so I want to share the part about the heaviness in having to whistleblow. When I tell you that sitting there having to make those statements, I realized I was just telling the truth. Just tell the truth, right? But people don't realize by telling the truth, and it's about other officers. Okay, we'll talk about that. I told the truth and I became a victim of ostracism and retaliation amongst my own peers. Now, mind you, I didn't receive the retaliation and the ostracism from everybody just in such a way that it's just outright there. The last unit I worked in, the folks there, love them. We had a good time. We had fun. We've even talked about why I had to whistleblow, and some people, you could tell they understood then. But when I came into the unit, a friend of mine, she said that they had a discussion about me coming to the unit. And she said, that's my friend, and you better not talk about, she said it in her own way. And I appreciate that. But the fact that people have their own ideas and their own perceptions of what you said and how you said it still resonates with them, yeah. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm coming in to this unit. How are they going to accept me? Because what I've been getting is some nonsense. What I've been getting is violence, if you will. And not necessarily physical violence, but the violence of silence when nobody wants to speak to you. The violence of getting on an elevator and nobody wants to get on with you. That's violent. It's violent to your soul. Because again, in my mind, as police and brothers and sisters in law enforcement, am I not among people that think like me? Am I not among people or my own people? And that was a no. That was definitely no. I was not. And I felt it and I knew it. and they let me feel it and let me know it by the behavior. That's a heaviness that you really can't describe in words. You really can't. You really can't. And like I expressed in other videos, my health started to show me that, yeah, what you're carrying around, it ain't good. It ain't good. Hair started to fall out, stuff like that. I'll share some other things in other videos, but I just want to share that heaviness. Yes, I was in the PhD program. As a matter of fact, I failed one class. And you cannot fail a second, otherwise you're totally kicked out. And I had to write letters. I had to speak to my, I forgot his name, but I spoke and I told them what was going on, and they understood, and they gave me another chance. And I can't even say the PhD program was all that hard. But what made it hard was the working environment after having to whistleblow. And so I've completed everything except for my dissertation. They call it ABD, all but dissertation. I'm going to get it done eventually. Even my family life, it wasn't so much affected in terms of me coming home and being a grouch, but I was just very, what is the word? It'll come to me. But I was worried a lot. I was worried a lot. And they could tell. I'll just leave it at that. I was worried a lot. So the heaviness in having to tell the truth. Telling the truth should not be a burden. It shouldn't be. And if we want to get on a spiritual level, telling the truth should be a burden remover. But in the case of policing and being amongst my own people, if you will, in policing, it was clear and evident that I wasn't. And I'm not saying everybody thought like this and everybody did this. No. I'm talking about the folks that were in control, sergeants, lieutenants, captains, and above. Now, the folks on my level, investigators, detectives, officers, there was a lot of shying away and not speaking to me in public. Some people would speak and say, keep your head up. You're doing good. I couldn't do what you're doing. But then to get the support in public, not so much. Not so much. One or two people, and they know who they are. But I want to share that aspect with you because whistleblowing is just not telling the truth. It affects the person, the individual, physically, mentally. And once you're deteriorated, what's left? So I tried not to let that happen to me. Of course, with the shooting, my mindset, I believe I just checked out in a sense. I still serve the people. I still serve the people the way I want my family to be served. So I sleep well with that. I sleep well. But I just believe that my mind and my body was like, okay, it's time for you to go. And on a spiritual level, my assignment was done. It was. That door closed. Because when I tell you, standing on that line, and I called up all the angels. I sent a bullet with an angel. Angel, get it to the center. I even did that. Yeah, I promise you I did. And that door closed. So I realized it's an assignment. It's over. And that was part of the relief, if you will. My assignment with that department was over. And that's okay. But again, I'm just giving you a perspective in a way and looking through my eyes and what I felt. I'll share some more, but always remember this. You don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.